Hey everybody, welcome to Trend Rebel. Wanted to do a quick video on the SMA indicator that we have. You can download the indicator or get access to the indicator through WAP. Just log into your WAP account, go to TradingView app in your hub, and select Claim Indicators. There's a video on that claim process prior to this one. In this video specifically, we're going to go over the Trend Rebel Pro SMA indicator, which is this one right here. You'll find it here in your invite only column. So this is the one we're going to look at. I'm going to open this up, turn it on, and open up the control panel for you. You do that by moving your mouse over here and clicking on the little settings box. That'll open up your control panel. And I want to be specific about this indicator because there's a lot of complexity to it, and you need to adjust this indicator specifically for the type of chart you're utilizing. When you first turn the indicator on, it will be set up for a 4-hour zoomed in view. What is a 4-hour zoomed in view? This is it right here. It's a 4-hour channel time frame. This is a SPY, and we are somewhat zoomed in versus this would be zoomed out. So again, it's set to be zoomed in so that you can use the indicator to see exactly what's going on. So I'm going to go back and open the control panel up again so that we can see it and explain all the values here. So the first thing across the top, you're going to see a checkbox here. Checking this box on or off turns on that time frame's smooth moving averages. The 9, 20, 50, 200, and 370 all get turned on for each of these time frames just by clicking these boxes. So if you look at these boxes all here, this is everything is turned on here in this way. If I move this out of the way for a second, you can see it's rather cluttered. So when you're in a 4-hour time frame, your use for a 5-minute, 15-minute, 30, and even an hour is very little. You wouldn't need those on this time frame. So I've turned those off by simply clicking this. The other thing you can do is you can take them and move them to the left side of the bar. So you can see my 4-hour and my daily 9 are on the right-hand side of the active candle. And if you do want to use one of these other time frames, you can use them, and you can click this left button here, which will move that particular time frame on the other side of the candle. The other thing you can do is you can turn on values or turn them off, depending on whether you need them or not. So as you are further away from the time frame that your actual chart is native to, what I mean by that is this is again a 4-hour time frame. 5-minute moving averages are not native to the 4-hour time frame. So having them as reference is great, but you don't necessarily need all the data. You can tell by the colors of them, again reflected on here, for what their use would be in terms of where they are, how they're crossing, which one's above which, etc. So you can use all that data if you want it, and you can move it to get out of the way of different things that are going on in your chart. If you do want the values, you can click on the values as I said. The last thing that happens over here is the length, and this length is showing you the length of the line that's attached to the moving average. So we can extend this out indefinitely to move it away from or close to the candle. So what I just did there was I just pushed them off the screen too far. So I'm going to bring them back in, pick a length of 5. So now they're over here, out of the way. I can see where they line up. I've got a very clear view of them. And they're, again, not really relevant to me on a 4-hour time frame, but if I wanted them because I was maybe doing a couple of things at once, you can customize your chart to do so. Now I'm going to put them back in this way here and leave them there. So for this 4-hour time frame, again, I have my 4-hour, and I always keep the higher time frames available on there too. So you have 4-hour, daily, weekly, monthly. And I think that's a pretty good rule. If you're running a 1-hour chart, you keep the 1 hour and everything above, 30 minutes and above, 5 minutes, etc. And I can show you different chart examples as we proceed. This particular layout, though, is the one that I have chosen for my 4-hour to keep it not as cluttered, and to be able to view the information that I deem necessary in order to use my SMAs as pivots and to understand direction of them. One other piece that we didn't cover here was the plot uh, box here. Selecting this box will actually plot the SMA for you. So that's my 4-hour. You can see my 9, my 4-hour, 20 are plotted by here. If I also want to see a daily, I can click on the plot for the daily, and it will actually plot the daily SMAs on here as well. So you can see that too. Let me just open this back up so that we have it. Sorry, anytime I click on there, it's going to disappear. So I have my daily, and that's really, it's all on the screen. So anyway, you can undo that by taking this off, and then you're good to go. But it's nice to have them if you want to see directions. So if you're looking at a chart and you want to understand where it's going to potentially cross another SMA, you could temporarily open this and just click on them to understand what they look like. And they're always available. So don't hesitate to go and grab them. Then we go down to the next part of this, which is thickness. For the SMAs, you can change your SMA color scheme to any color scheme that you want. You can change the thickness of the lines to whatever thickness you want, so that you can even have these variable based upon importance. And that's your basics there. Inside here, you will also be able to change the opacity. So if you want to bring the opacity down to dull it a little bit, you can do that as well. Any color, and you can also insert custom colors in here as well. Last part of this is the crossing the up and down labels. This feature is currently unavailable, or may show as available to you, but you're going to want to disable it because right now we're working out a different algorithm to make this a little more effective. So to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the color. You're going to bring the opacity down to 0. And you're going to click on this color, you bring the opacity down to 0. It doesn't matter what color it is. If you bring them down to 0, then they won't show up on your screen, and they're now gone. So that's how you're going to set up your inputs. This was how I set up for a 4-hour, and again, I'm zoomed in on a 4-hour. I do use multiple monitors, so having a zoomed in 4-hour is important to me because I can always look at something on a higher scale or zoomed out on another monitor, but watching how the SMAs and the pivots are affected is important to be able to see them and interact with the timeframes. The last thing you have here is your style. This is, again, this is specifically as it's related to the plotting function. So go back to inputs again. I'm going to remind you that the lines for these SMAs are with this plotting feature. Now, if you want to change what those lines look like, you can do so in here. You can change them from lines to all the different types of representations you have here, and you can also change their colors and thickness and everything there as well. So these lines are for the plots. These lines are for the lines connecting the SMAs to the price action. So they're different. Then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you have another feature, another option. Sorry, do that. You have another option of labels and lines so that they can put the information on the chart. If you turn labels off, it turns those labels off completely. So you could just run it with one thing if you wanted to have lines and take the labels off. But that wasn't how I use it. The other way you can do it too is you can take your lines off. So you can take your lines off and just have the numbers floating in space. Having the numbers floating without the lines may be effective for you because you can tell generally where they are. And again, please don't trade to exact numbers. Give yourself some breathing room. Then you can go down here to your labels on the price scale. So for instance, this 4-hour is on my price scale there at 570.31. I can turn that off so that those don't show up on the price scale, and my price scale is not cluttered. Sorry. The other thing I can do is take the values in the status line, and by clicking this, turning them on, you have all of these things here, which are unnecessary and it's too much information. So I turn that off. Lastly, the last thing that you'll need to do on here is once you have this set up the way you want it and do this, and it should be custom for everybody, finding these numbers in terms of how far off my bars are My information is from the candle. Finding all these numbers was a very customized solution, and it was one that I used for myself. But once you're done with all of that, you can go down here to defaults, and you can save as default. Once you do that, anytime you apply this indicator to another chart, it will always go to this default. If you want to reset back to the factory settings, which are the settings that I sent it out with, you can always do that here as well. That, my friends, is how the indicator works on a 4-hour time frame and the settings there. I'm going to move over to a 5-minute time frame just so that we can have one for Confluence here. So here is a 5-minute time frame. And let me zoom in a little bit here too. And I do, again, I use this indicator and the SMAs. I do use them zoomed in because it gives me a little bit more range of what I'm looking at. So in this instance, we're at 5 minutes. So we're going to start with 5. And I'm going to add everything in that I think is important. I am going to plot my 5-minute time frame. And I'm going to take out the 4-hour plot. So that's gone, and I added in the 5-minute. Um, the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 5-minute and I'm going to put it back on the right side of the line. So here you just saw them pop out here. I'll do that again for you. So the 5 minutes you're going to see go left. I'm going to bring them back out. So the reason I did that is that now I can see them very easily, the 5 minutes, because that's the time frame I'm on. And I have the 15, 30, 1 hour all on the left of the price action, and then anything higher than that stays on the right. And then I can adjust where they are in relationship to the candle here. So this is what I want for now. Again, I'm not changing anything else on here, but that was all I had to do there. Now I'll go to the chart and show you what it looks like. So now I have my my 5 minutes, so I can see my 9 right here, and I can see that nice little ride I could have taken there. I ride the 9. Here's a 20 coming up here, and the 50, and you can see we just dipped below this 50 now here on a 5-minute chart. What I do really like about this too is it shows me my other SMAs at different time frames. So up here you can see we are pretty far away from the 4-hour 20, the 4-hour 9, the daily 9, etc. So if I am scalping or day trading with a 5-minute chart, I can have these here as buffers so I understand what's happening when price action maneuvers. And I can see where I'm going to fall to, where price action could potentially go to, because these are all charted for all those time frames. And again, I can always add and subtract whatever I want right on this settings channel here and change how I want to view it. So that's that simple. Anyway, that is the TrendRebel.pro SMA. It is available in TradingView by clicking on Indicators and clicking on the Invite Only. And the way that they'll show up in your Invite Only is if you claim them from WAP. You need to log into WAP, which is where your payments are processed, and you need to add your TradingView name in there. Once that's done, you can claim this indicator and all of our other indicators. Thanks for watching.